Hi, I'm Diana from Diana Marie Home, and I am back this week to share our week 6 garden tour. Kind of. We are actually in the middle of garlic harvest right now, so normally I spend all day Wednesday really taking care of my garden and prepping it for the garden tour. That did not happen this week. I want to give you guys a quick update on the garden, show you some new things that's happening because we do have a lot of growth. But I thought this week, since we are garlic harvesting, I could take you along with me and show you what that looks like here on Flint Creek Farm, because it is pretty crazy. We started growing garlic maybe 5 years ago. My dad was growing it and he got Kurt into it, and so now it's kind of the thing that they do together, and Kurt has just expanded it to the point where we now have 2 acres of garlic. So this harvest is wild. It's really wild. So I'll show you quick some updates in my raised bed garden, and then we'll head back and start harvesting. And by start, I mean continue harvesting. Something I did this week was start some new seedlings inside the greenhouse. It's just a little too hot outside for them, so the nice breezy greenhouse was a good way to get them started. I have some lettuce that I got from Baker Creek, some basil started, marigolds, more basil, and then someone asked if the chamomile sprouted in the garden. It did not sprout in the garden, but I started some in here in the greenhouse and it sprouted. I have some more over here, so that's really exciting. And then I have little baby cilantros that started in here, so fingers crossed I can get those to continue to grow, because you guys know I've struggled with that. The other update I have is on the tomato suckers we clipped for pruning tomato plants. Check out those roots. In just a week they grew all those roots already. I'll leave them in there for a little bit longer, probably another week, and then put those into the ground, so I'll keep you updated on that. But super easy tomato plant propagation. If you need another tomato plant later on in the season, check out Garden Tour Week 5 to see how I took these suckers off. I'll be doing a full video on tomato pruning and propagation soon, but until then you can kind of piece it together by watching Week 5 and this one, Week 6. Baby dill. Everything's really filling out in the herb garden. Pretty sure these may be weeds in here, but I know I planted some marigolds and this looks a little bit like a marigold. We'll see. Probably babying weeds. Sunflowers looking good. Speaking of babying weeds, I've had these plants in my garden, which I've been talking about, I thought might have been my okra. I've been seeing these pop up in our yard where we have weeds, so these are not okra. But the good news is, over here in the herb garden, this is definitely an okra plant. I've been watching videos and they have these dinosaur looking leaves, and this guy's doing pretty good, so I'm really excited that I might actually get to try okra this year. I also have a little guest tomato plant that came up in these chives that I transplanted. I grew tomatoes in the same bed this chive plant was in last year, and so there must have been a little seed stuck in there, and I might let it grow. I don't know. Should I pull it out? Let me know what you think in the comments. I've been sprinkling regular ground pepper on the lettuce, and you still see holes in it just because it's lettuce I haven't harvested. I do think the pepper's helping a little for the smaller leaves. It's definitely not looking any worse than it was before. The cress that I'm growing, I think it's called Wrinkly Crinkly Cress from Floret, is starting to get its little seed pods. I think this stuff is so pretty. I'm really excited. The flower bed is really filling in. That amaranth is really taking over, and here's a weed. You will see weeds in my garden. I promise you, this is not a weed-free zone. But, you know, pull them out when you see them, and everything's good. Stress-free here. It's always a good sign to see ladybugs in your garden. still don't have any purple beans, but the plants are looking really good. We've been getting a few green beans here and there, and the dragon tongues are coming up. Here is another little baby dragon tongue. Those are from Baker Creek Farms. These are the pepper plants that I had pruned. Their peppers are growing in, and so many of them on each plant. It's awesome. I also have a little baby pepper plant. I planted this later on. Don't know if it will reach maturity, but that's our only jalapeno. And then the carrots from 2015 going strong. Now these pepper plants are the ones that I didn't prune. Not as big and bushy. They do have some peppers though that we'll definitely get to pick sooner. And I've been harvesting zucchini almost daily at this point. I could actually pick these two out here, but I gotta go harvest the garlic. I've been pruning a lot of the leaves with this dusty mildew on it. I pruned them pretty heavily the other day, so I'll come back and do some more pruning once these little guys poke through. But I've also been doing the water mixture of baking soda and dish soap. I think it's helped maintain the problem. I don't think it's gotten rid of it, but once you have musty mildew, you kind of just have to go with the flow. So I think pruning is probably your best option, but the plants still need leaves to photosynthesize, so you can't prune all of them off. Look at these potato plants. Corn. Check this out. How exciting is that? Tomato plants and onions. We also have some pole beans reaching up. Some cucumbers. I've been harvesting a couple cucumbers. These are the pickling ones, but I've been eating them. More carrots in here. These carrots are multicolored carrots from Baker Creek Farms. I think there's red, orange, white, and purple. Some good news back in the squash garden, squash and pumpkin. I, knock on wood, have not seen any squash bugs for a few days now. Look at those bees doing their job. How cool is that? The little baby acorn squash. So fingers crossed we've made it through the squash bug season with not too much damage. It was a lot of work picking them off every day, but worth it. I was a little worried that we'd be doing that for the rest of summer, but I think we might be in the clear. What's your experience been with squash bugs? Look at all of those pollinators. That is so awesome to see. One day Kurt and I would love to add bees to our farm. It's just a dream that we have, and seeing this makes me really excited for that. Alright, that's it for our quick and sweet garden tour. I'm headed back to the garlic. I will show you what that setup looks like. Alright, here's the garlic. We know it's ready because there were some scapes that we left on, and those stand straight up. And then also the top part of the plant has died back. Those are both signs that the garlic is ready to be pulled. We have 2 acres of German hardneck garlic, and recently we were just certified organic. So now we're USDA certified, which is, we're really excited about that. You can see there are a lot of weeds because we use no pesticides. So when hand weeding stops, you get a lot of weeds. We have 2 acres, which I think is 35,000 heads. I have to double check on that. But we do not hand harvest this. What I'll be showing you is the tractor and contraption that we have to harvest all of this garlic. Oh, look at those Queen Anne's lace. Do you know Queen Anne's lace is actually in the carrot family? They don't grow carrots, but I thought that was so interesting. Out there is kale and 2 varieties of cabbage that we do not plant. Another farmer plants that back there. Got my big mason jar of lemonade. What's your favorite drink when you're out gardening? I like to have something with a little sugar in it. You can see some of the scapes that we picked off a few weeks ago. You want to pick those scapes off so that all the energy goes towards the bulb. And we have noticed these ones that still have the scape on, their bulbs are significantly smaller than the ones that we cut off. Pretty cool. You ready for the garlic harvest? Kurt, you ready for garlic harvest?
We gotta get it done, the rain's coming, so got no choice. Yes, I'm ready to go.
We just walked down the whole field. This is what we have set up. This thing pulls out the garlic, goes up here, we collect it, and then hang it up in this rack. Kurt designed this thing. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. That's what we did all day yesterday. Today, how many heads of garlic do we have?
It's probably between 30 and 35,000.
Yeah, crazy amounts. How many pounds do you think that is?
It's gonna be between like 10,000 pounds, probably around 10,000 pounds.
And what are you doing with the garlic?
We're gonna be planting it, replanting most of it, so we keep building our crop and selling anything we can.
Nice. Ready to get going? All right, we're still harvesting, but I wanted to show you how we're gonna store all this garlic since we do not have a barn yet. So we have these racks that go right inside these big storage containers. And then the doors will be open. And we're gonna have huge fans on both sides so the air can circulate through. Look at all that garlic. So what's really nice about these racks is normally you'd harvest them and then have piles and piles of garlic that you'd have to tie up and hang. And these racks make it so that we skip that step. We harvest them and hang them on here all in one go, and that's it. We just wait for them to dry, which is so nice because tying them and hanging them is a huge job. Huge. We did that last year. This is the first year of using these racks, and it's pretty awesome. So we're probably going to have about 5 of these racks full by the time we're completely done. Thank you so much for joining me today on our garlic harvest and mini garden tour. I look forward to seeing you again next week, and in the meantime, be sure to hit subscribe so you know exactly when I release my new videos, and pretty soon I will be sharing more on fixing up our 1800s farmhouse. I plan to share more of that here on YouTube, but if you want to check out what we've done so far, go to my blog, dianamariehome.com, and I share all the updates of our renovations there, so check that out. I'll see you next week.